Welcome back to the Apistogramma build, guys. In the last video, you saw me do the hardscape. And in this video, it's time to do the planting, so let's get started. So yeah, everything's looking great. Like I said in the last video though, it does look a little bit odd because we've got these massive empty spaces up in this area, but remember, it's all gonna be planted, so it'll all lead into that rock and it won't just look so... Why have I got this here? Why is that there? That doesn't go there. Yeah, sorry. So what I want to do is put some epiphyte plants in first, and then we can sort of plant around those. And very recently I've been attaching them to different rocks and it's worked so well. So for instance, here is my little fast flowing river tank that I've got a load of Pandagara in. There they are, looking fantastic. But all of the plants you can see here, so that is Anubias, we've got mosses as well, and most of them were all placed on the rocks first and then put into the aquarium. And then I also did the same on my Buddha aquarium, you can see here, which is growing in amazing. I think you'll all agree. It's going to be ready soon for its first big trim up, I think, and then we can start to put the goldfish in as well. That's going to be great. Yes, there's goldfish going in this tank. But anyway, it's not about that tank, it's about this tank. So let me show you how to attach those plants to rocks. I mean, you've probably all seen it before, but for those of you that haven't. Now, first of all, you want to select your plants, and it just so happens I've got a lot to choose from. So in the bottom here, look, you can see we've got some really nice Java fern. I'm going to pick those out. We've got a few Anubiases dotted about as well, so they're all going to come in useful for the start. So here we've got some of your standard Java fern. Most of it's looking pretty good, but there's a few bits of it that look a bit drab, so I'm just going to break those off. And then what we want to do is attach the rhizome to a rock or a little pebble or something like that. Get it a little bit wet first, and then you can apply your cyanoacrylate, yes, I said it right, super glue gel. This stuff's completely inert. You can put it in water, it won't affect the fish or the plants. It pretty much like goes hard instantly, which is perfect because that's what we need it for. So yeah, you just put a little bit all over the rock, and then all you want to do is push the base of the plant onto that. Don't worry, it won't damage the plant. If you give it about 10 seconds or so, it should be stuck completely. And at that point, you can just put it straight into the aquarium if you want. Right, lots of plants prepped there. I don't know if I'm going to use all of them, but it's good to have a variety, isn't it? So a lot of these Java ferns in the middle here, I'm going to put them together to make one big piece. And then I've got all these little baby plantlets that were attached to them. I've not put any stones on those. I'm going to just attach those to the bits of wood. I think that'll look really good. The baby ones sort of growing in and the big mother ones in the middle. So you can really see there, just as soon as you put some nice plants in, everything starts to come together nicely, and hopefully you can sort of see what I was saying now, that it all gets connected with that big rock at the back and it sort of flows around in a circular motion. That's luck, I'm just making it sound like I designed it that way. But I've kept the sort of greenery going with a little bit of Java fern peeking out the side there. I might push it in even more, so it's just peeking out a little bit. Now these are already starting to dry off, so we must mist them. Mist regularly, guys, like you can't mist too much. And that's enough greens for the minute. Right, I need to come down now here into the grow out tank. So it's looking so good though that I don't want to take any of the plants out, but we have to. That's the point of it. Part of me is just thinking, oh no, we'll just keep it growing, But that plant there, that red Amazon sword, it's like the Rosa or something like that. I'll look it up exactly, put it on the screen. Echiodorus Rosa or something like that. Anyway, that's going to look really good in that spot in the middle there. That's why I kept that open and didn't put any sort of rocks on it, because I knew it would be a great focal point for one of the red plants, and I think that would be a really good one there. It is quite a big plant, but screw it, let's go big, let's go for it. Oh yes, look, the plant is so healthy. It's looking great. That's a brand new leaf there coming out in the middle, look. So red. And we've got really good roots. Those are the original roots, and then the really white ones are obviously new roots that have grown. And yeah, let's put it in. Right, that's the main sort of structural plants done. I mean, that's what I like to call them. They set the sort of shape, and the rest of the plants we're just going to put around as extra details. These are important though, because they really do bring the scape to life. That includes background stems as well. Like they're not part of the overall shape, because they're constantly going to be changing, trimming, you know, they're going to change regularly. That's what constantly changing means. So yeah, what I'm mainly talking about really is all the fine detail stuff that you can put in the foreground gravel. Now, I find that in scapes of this style, you don't want to block it out. I think the naturalistic look of stuff placed sporadically looks really, look at me with my big words. I think it just looks a lot more natural. I like it. Don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for a fully carpeted tank, and when you're going for like a realistic setup, I don't think that's it. I think it's very rare that you'll see a lush carpet of hairgrass or Monte Carlo in the wild with 3 rocks poking out of it. But like I say, they look absolutely fantastic, just not really what I'm going for with this style of scape. We want nature. Nature's kind of random, isn't it? So I'm really pleased with how everything's going so far. That foreground looks great, didn't it? But we want to attach some mosses now to things like, you know, that rock there and that one, a little bit on the wood there, a little bit coming up there. Not too much. I like with mosses. I used to just pack everything out with moss from the start, but what I like to do now is actually place little dots of it and just let it grow in naturally. It looks so much better when you do it that way. So we're going to put those mosses on, and then after that I'm going to fill the tank up so I can put in the tall plants, because I just find they look better if you plant them when the tank's full. Right, I better explain what this contraption is, otherwise the comment section is going to be filled with everyone asking about it as usual. So I made this myself. It's basically just part of an inlet for an old filter. I just added a little bit of pipe there, which then enabled me to put in this ball valve system just to turn it on and off, and it means I can control the flow as well. And then that pipe goes all the way up and into my sink area, which has got a few bits going on at the moment, but yeah, and onto this tap, and that bit of tissues to stop the water dripping onto the floor, but it works. So yeah, and that's it. And then you can control the temperature, because I've done a little notch. I don't know if you can pick it up because of the lighting, but there's a little notch that tells me the perfect temperature, which is about 21-22 degrees centigrade, or something 60 something in Fahrenheit. So yeah, it works really well. Look, and you can see here that it's not too quick, but it's not slow either. So we've already done that much, and you can sort of see it filling up now as we go, but it's not causing any issues at all in terms of stirring up the substrate. Basically, it hits this bottom section here and goes left and right rather than straight down, because underneath it's completely flat. Can't really see it, but yeah, so look, here you go, filling up nice and clean. Right, we need to put some dechlorinator in, and also some quick start. I'll be using the API products because they are awesome and they sponsor the channel, but this video is not sponsored by API. Right, there we go, we're full up with water. The plants are absolutely covered in bubbles as well, which is good, I guess. Anyway, so now is a really good time to put in the stems and tall plants. So I want some Val looping over the top, and then I also want some Rotala green poking through on either side as well. So you've got green, and you've got really bright green, and then the darker green of the Val going over. And funnily enough, I have a really nice collection of Rotala green growing in my other studio. Follow me. Okay, so down here, look, you can see back, well, this myofilm stuff's in the way, but if I come over the top, look, there we go. So at the back there, really nice little collection of Rotala green. I've got some more growing in that section as well. Yeah, it's going really well. This tank is so cool. We've got Otto Synclis in here. We've got 10 Ottos and we've got 10 Amanos. That's my sort of standard cleanup crew, 10 and 10. If you get those, you're pretty much, you know, your tank's going to be doing well. Look, there's no algae anywhere. And it's quite a bright light as well. I've got the LED floodlight again, as you guys have seen before. It's the same that's on this whole aquarium. 2 LED floodlights there, one beneath it, and then I've got one as well above this planted tank grow out as well. I need to plant these. I've only just got them, so they're going in next. But yeah, first that Rotala green. Okay, so that is looking sweet. Now, as everything grows in, it's going to look big and red here, but there's no sort of red over here. We want to bring some red out in this area. There's a nice little gap we can see. Oh, no, we can't. Why are you in the way? What are you doing? Okay, yeah, there's a nice little gap by that rock, and I think just that area will just look really, really good with a nice touch of red. Just some, I've got some Ludwigia Super Red, Mini Super Red, Ludwigia Palustrius Mini Super Red. They shouldn't have called it that. It's an awful long name, but that'll look really good in there. And if I put one there, I'll also probably put a little bit dotted about in other areas as well. It tends to look better in little pockets, I find anyway. Okay, here's the plant, the Ludwigia. So the growth you can see on the top here is all the new growth, so it's quite smaller, isn't it? The big leaves is where it was grown out of water and it's converted from about there upwards. Now I want to take some of these apart, so if you just do that, look, and get your stem, you can just snap it anywhere. I mean, there's some roots showing there, that's probably a good point, so I'm going to snap it or just pinch it with my fingers. There we go, and I've got a little plantlet now that we can use. You can either plant this again in another tank and it'll actually start, look, you can see already, look, it's got little shoots coming off. So I'll replant even that little bit in one of my grow out tanks and you get some really good growth going on. Just remove those leaves and we're good to go. It's already started the conversion process, so it's really good. Don't waste it, use it. That's all looking fantastic, but the darkness of that grey in the background and that window is really annoying me. So what I'm going to do is just paint the back of the glass white really quickly, and it should go a lot brighter actually, because the light doesn't actually need to be any brighter. That's about perfect, but I just want the background to be more sort of contrasty and white. Do you know what I mean? I don't even know what I mean. We'll see how it turns out. Okay, there we go. I'm not sure how well that's coming out on sort of camera, but that looks so much better in person. Like, because look how dark the grey is behind it. The tank really does stand out like on its own now. It looks so good. But obviously we can't leave the tank. Well, we could leave the tank like that, but I'm going to be fitting a filter as well. So for instance, down here on my awesome grow out tank, I've just got a cheap little hang on the back filter. Works really, really well. And over here on the pirate ship aquarium, which is doing great by the way with the green restorers, I've got the same one. It's got like a little what's it called, surface skimmer as well, which works really well. So really, really cheap these filters and lights are. I'll leave links for them in the description for you guys. Oh, I think they're going to be fed now in a minute. But yeah, I'm going to fit that now. So guys, it has now been several days, I think 3 days since I actually filled this up. It's looking fantastic, let me show you. Ah, boom, look at that. How good does that look? So in those 3 days, I've actually done 2 50% water changes. We're due another one today, but it hasn't wavered at all. Is that the right word? There's no algae anywhere, nothing. It's just absolute perfection. I just think it looks fantastic. How good does that look? Still got some bubbles going on. Look at the bulbitis. That is looking fantastic as well. I trimmed off some of the bad ones because look at that one there right in the center. It's got a sort of like blackish edge to it. I'm not sure what that is. Just snip it off. New one will grow in its place. All good. But yeah, I think this is going to make a really, really cool home to the Apistogrammas. And a lot of you were saying you need to give it a cave for them to go in. Well, there's plenty of natural spaces and places they're going to be able to find, you know, just to set up their little spawning spots in. There's one there. I mean, like for instance, underneath in there is a full-on cave. So I mean, nature does have its ways, doesn't it? They'll find it. So Apistogrammas for sure, but then what should we put in with them? That's coming up in the next video, by the way, guys, which will be in a few days time. What should we put in with the Apistogrammas? They're going to need a diverfish so they feel comfortable. We're going to want some cories as well, I think, aren't we, for that bottom area? Although they'll probably wreak havoc on it and just tear it all up, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So green though, isn't it? Look how good it looks. But anyway, guys, I don't know about you, but I am massively excited to the next vlog. We're going to be adding the fish, so make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one.